who are older, you gotta deal with people who are disabled, and people who are plus size. Hello, it is Nikki B on the scene, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another beat with me. I woke up and chose conversation. So today we are talking about pretty privilege. Understanding what it is. Like, I know there's been like a million videos on YouTube right now surfacing about pretty privilege. A lot of girls that look like me are saying that they don't have it, but I'm just here to talk about, like, we don't have it, not necessarily because that we're ugly. Pretty privilege is basically a person who is getting by in society solely based on their looks. A lot of times they are granted opportunities, they excel in school or at the workplace, they're treated better basically. But I also believe pretty privilege is an extension of white privilege, and hear me out when I say that.
Going to Harvard is the only way I'm gonna get the love of my life back.
Oh, sweetheart, you don't need law school. Law school's for people who are boring and ugly and serious. And you, Button, are none of those things.
I say that because when you think about it, pretty privilege is also aligned with people having futures closest to white people. So that means a narrow nose. Ooh, almost gave me a hard time to say that. Your face is, obviously symmetrical, but it's also is representing a lot of European features. And then we all know that the beauty standards, and pretty much almost around the whole world, everyone wants to pretty much be white. It's a European beauty standard. People are trying to constantly become that, and live up to that. So when I think of pretty privilege, I think of it as it being more so an extension of white privilege, because I feel like when it comes to, like white women, white girls, some basic looking people in that little group, their looks being praised. They say, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. And I'm not saying that they're ugly or anything. It's just that even the most basic, they get praised because, like I said, the beauty standards is European beauty standards. That's literally what it is. So, they get praised for their looks, they get opportunities, and they're able to maneuver through society a little more easier compared to a person that obviously that looks like me or somebody else. Now, in terms of pretty privilege existing in different factions, in different groups, like for me, I'm a black girl. I know that I'm pretty. You know what I'm saying? I know I can change like that. I could look good, do my thing, da-da-da. However, pretty privilege for me ain't really pretty privilege. If anything, yes, I have gotten treated a little better in terms of like men holding a door for me or greeting me in public or whatever the case may be. But that's about it. I feel like pretty privilege for a black girl is not necessarily they will get good opportunities or things will open up for them. And especially in certain places, I feel like because there's so many factors involved in terms of what someone would view the beauty of a black woman, it's like people come with stereotypes. People are colorists and stuff like that. Like for me, colorism played a big part in how someone viewed my beauty. Like especially during elementary school, the kids will like obviously uplift like the lighter complexion girls. Like I said, a lot of times they weren't actually pretty, but they were conditioned to believe that was pretty. That was, what to look for, because what does that equate to? Looking more white. So they will uplift those girls. They was lighter complexion. Obviously, some of them had some, looser curl patterns. And then the darker complexion girls, no one really liked us like that. Sometimes we would get in trouble when it wasn't even like our fault. And then of course the other kids who were lighter, they got off the hook a little easier. And I've seen it, so I can see that existing. I feel like pretty privilege for black girls is we don't have it, not because we're ugly. We don't have it because we got too many factors in place, if that makes sense. I mean, we can always explain it in the comment section below if anybody has any questions, because I can go on and on about this topic, but I just feel like we just don't have it in a sense how it works for other people by being pretty, and then like I said, if we do experience pretty privilege, let's say as a black girl and she's deemed pretty by society and she's in like a social setting, it won't only work so far, but it's not going to work in her favor in terms of getting that job, because like I said, once they go out into the world, that pretty people, they don't care about that, because now they care about your skin color. They think of the stereotypes that they're associating you with. It's like pretty privilege isn't going to get you far, no matter how beautiful this black girl is or this black guy is, their looks is not going to get them that far compared to somebody else who isn't black. We all know we gotta work twice as hard, do what we have to do in order to get our foot into the door. They're not gonna care what the heck we look like. We can't even benefit from pretty privilege. You know, the beautiful black girls, if anything socially, let's say like social media, they can benefit from that because like social media, they like pretty things, they like bright things. So you know if you're on TikTok or Instagram, you will see like an influx of like black influencers. One, they're in bright clothes, their skin is smooth and everything, hair popping, like they look good, don't get me wrong, I follow them pages, but it's like they know what they have to do in order to sustain, you know, some kind of relevancy on social media. So with that being said, that's as far as it will most likely go. It only goes so far. And then for people who, you know, who feel like they don't have pretty privilege because, you know, they might feel, because they probably think that they're ugly, or maybe they don't think that they're ugly, but they just feel like it's just something that you just never had and it sucks. And it's like, no, it doesn't suck. It's just because when you really break it down, even if we did experience it, we're only experiencing on such a small level. It's not something that we can use to our like advantage, you know. I know that I'm pretty, I know I have it in certain spaces, but at the same time, I know when I step out of that space, I'm not going to be able to use it because now I have no power with it. Having that privilege, it gives you some sort of power. For me, I don't have that power all the time. In small spaces, I do. Because we also got to think about, there's people who are older, you got to deal with people who are disabled, and, you know, people who are plus size. Those three things. And, you know, and other things as well. But when you think of those three things, it's like, this is not to come from like a bad place or bring other people down, but we can experience pretty privilege by being around them and then other people judging us. So that's why I'm not even pressed that, you know, I don't even have pretty privilege like that, because I know of the factors that are in place that exist to why I'm not being treated fairly compared to someone else. So when the girls be talking about how they don't have pretty privilege and it just sucks for them, and it's like, it's not that you're ugly or anything. It's, especially like I said with the black girls, it's colorism, it's racism. Those are in place as to why somebody's treating you differently. And it's like, have you ever been around a person when they, it's like you can almost sense that when they look at another person, they're almost kind of figuring out how to treat them because there's something different about them or something that they're just not used to seeing. So based on how they look, they're gonna treat them differently. I have been treated differently because my eye shape was a little different. You know, I had some people treat me differently, not in a bad way, but like in a praising way, like, wow, your eyes are so different, or you know, you look Asian, all that extra stuff. And it's like, maybe on certain angles I do, but it was such a small minor detail about me that has been, you know, magnified to a very uncomfortable level. And it's like, you know, I had people who talked about my nose, how, you know, it's like a little button, but it's also straight, you know, it's not big. And it's like things like that. You can say I experienced pretty privilege, but in reality, it's because the little features I have is looking a little more on that side than it is on the black side. I look black regardless, but that's how I feel about the whole idea of pretty privilege, and of, you know, mainly is like black women that I see, you know, black women, black girls that I see. And sometimes, you know, the Susans be talking about it too, you know, they be having some good points, but it's like mainly the black girls that be talking about it. And like, I feel them, because literally a lot of their experiences I've experienced too at some point in my life. I know it wasn't because I was ugly, it's because people are conditioned to believe that we are ugly. Therefore, of course, regardless of how pretty we may actually be, you know, regardless of how many times people will say, but you're so beautiful, it's more than just that. It's everything in place as to why we're being treated the way we do. Also have to keep in mind that who cares about these dusty behind boys and guys that's not looking your way? Who cares if someone is not calling you pretty on a daily? You know why? Because it's all about what's up here. At the end of the day, even if you had a tons of validation, if you personally don't feel that way, it doesn't even gonna mean anything. It's, you know, it's not gonna mean anything. So you want to work on yourself at the end of the day. You command the space with your confidence and dress how you want to and feel beautiful. So that's all I have to say about that. thank you all for watching, and I'll be back again with another video. So I'm going to try to like up my schedule with making videos, so hopefully maybe next week I can start posting like every single day. And also, let's try to get to 200 subscribers, because I noticed I'm like only 50 something subs away. So let's get it together. Let's get that ball rolling. I'm trying to build this channel, okay? Leave a comment below if you also want to extend the conversation, because I am more than happy to talk about it more if you have any thoughts or something that stood out to you in the video. Okay, bye.